Last week on Behind the Gate, Romain Febvre rolled back the years at the MXGP of Czech Republic, the Frenchman in top form to take a 1-1 and secure his first GP win in more than 3 years, and also Yamaha's first of the season. Behind him, Tim Gajser moved ever closer to the MXGP title, while Jeremy Seewer stretched his advantage to 26 points over the chasing pack in the battle for second in the championship standings. In MX2, Jorge Prado was at his brilliant best in Loket, with a 10th 1-1 in 12 GPs in 2019. The Spaniard's lead over Thomas Kjærulfsen is now 90 points, with no end in sight to his dominance, despite the best efforts of Henry Jacobi back on the box for the first time since Matterley. After all that, we're in the heartland of motocross near Lommel, where you can barely move for bumping in to dirt bike royalty. Oh, hey Jorge, what are you doing here? What are you doing?
Going for work.
Ah, okay, cool. Well, have a good day.
Yeah,
See ya. If results go his way, Gajser could clinch a third world title this weekend, although that would mean Seewer having a real off day, while KTM's finalist will be expecting to continue his best ever form so close to his second home. Can Gajser close out that title? Can Seewer continue to carry the fight? Will Prado get a 13th victory of a stellar season? We'll find out in a few days' time at the MXGP of Belgium.
Jago Kietz takes us for a spin around Lommel this week, through the fast right into turn 2. The left on the exit, we have the Foxhole shot line. Immediately you can see how the circuit will deteriorate as the day goes on. A single through a bit of a G out. The braking bumps will be huge here. The fans to the right will be absolutely vocal. A split section through there, and then this jump will rut up as the day goes on as well, but those holes and the sand bottomless here over the iPhone tabletop, and then slightly uphill into this left-hander. Look how Jago is really having to work the front end as he tries to clear those holes. Through the right-left combination, over the little monster jump, through the fast left, and then up towards the hill. Most riders will jump long off of that, and then we have this open left 180-degree turn. Gets very rough on the exit. Again, you can choose inside or outside through here. The outside line will carry more momentum. Then you fall away on the exit into more bottomless sand. On the gas, hang off the back of the bike. Slightly uphill onto this plateau. Jump as long as you can. Inside, you've got the single there, and also here. And then we end up into the right-hand turn that takes us past pit lane. Gnarly braking bumps at the end of the straight through this left-hander. Years ago, this used to be the old finish line jump. Here is the Monster Energy finish line jump just here. And when you come into land, more braking bumps. The holes on the inside will be bigger than the ones on the outside. Over the city jump, triple or quad in the past, but most riders only tripling in. But then you can triple out at the end of the section and guess what? More braking bumps. That bank left-hand turn will see some action. This jump face rutted 4, 5, 6 lines through this next left-hander. The final turn, this right takes us over a single jump and back onto the start straight.
When I was riding, I focused really good on myself because otherwise you don't get world champion. I think every rider who was world champion, his idea was like, I want to be team manager. When I was riding, I helped also a lot of young kids to start riding motocross and try to teach him how to set up the bike. When I was in Husqvarna, I get the possibility to make my own team. And from there on, it starts and it grow up like a big team, professional factory team. The goals we had for this season was for sure with TKO to win the title. Top 2 was our goal. For Jet, top 5 was our goal.
Unfortunately, on Wednesday training, I was at Derna and yeah, I just kind of messed up a turn. I didn't even crash and just smashed my chest on the bar pad really hard. It turns out that I have a slight crack in my sternum, and hopefully this little setback doesn't have any effect with the Motocross of Nations selection. I should only be out for about 4 weeks, so I could have plenty of bike time before the event. Some of the injuries I've had I couldn't avoid, but then others have been just silly little mistakes. But yeah, every time I learn from that.
I had a big crash in Indonesia in that second moto where I crashed in the start, and I banged my head pretty hard against the ground and got a small concussion. After that, I really took some time to rest and heal up and try and get ready for Czech Republic. Beating Prado is definitely difficult. He gets a good start every time, and I'm definitely starting to be closer to him in the starts, and I'm getting better with that, but I still need a little bit more consistency. I got a win over him in Indonesia, and that was an awesome race for me. Everything just clicked, and that's some of the feelings I want to get back. That's what I need to get back to him.
The new team, new machinery has been really good. It took me a little while to adapt at the start of the year, but I feel like I'm right at home now, and everyone in the team is unreal, and the bike is amazing. Manitoba GP was really good. So I'm pretty confident in the wet conditions, and I don't really care if it's raining. Yeah, Thomas and I, we're pretty close for teammates, I would say.
Having Jet in the team has been great. We train together every day, and we're pushing each other on and off the track. He's a great smack talker, so we do a lot of that. Yeah, in Matterley I went 1-1, and that was just an amazing weekend. Everything just played out for me that weekend. I think I won the qualifying moto and both motos, so something I never done before, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Jorge, what are you doing here?
Lisa, my new summer job.
In an ice cream shop?
Yeah, between races, to disconnect a little bit of motocross.
Seriously, why are you over there?
You want an ice cream? Choose.
I actually do want an ice cream. Are you going to serve me?
Yeah, for sure, I can do that.
What do you recommend then?
Strawberry ice cream, fresh strawberries, and then the banana one is very good. And if you're a chocolate lover, then I would say cookies or Ferrero, it's one of the best.
I'm a chocolate kind of girl.
Oh yeah, so what do you want? Tell me.
You got Kinder Bueno or cookies? Which one's better?
I would say cookies, my favorite one.
Yeah, I have the cookies.
Yeah?
Yeah. Your red plate is over there, your bike is there behind you. What is your connection with this ice cream shop?
When I came first time to Belgium, the woman from this ice cream shop, Annick, was always very friendly to us and helped us a lot. My mother, my sister were always with her, and she helped us a lot. So she's a big part of our family as well.
Ah, cool. Yeah. And free ice cream as well, which is always a bonus.
And free ice cream as well. I came here the most of the times to get an ice cream after riding, so to get some energy, you know?
Well, Jorge, this is amazing. Good recommendation, and best of luck for the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Jorge Prado took the mickey with his rivals as he cruised through the first turn on the back wheel and grabbed his 18th foxhole shot of the season, closely followed by his teammate Tom Vial. Both the F&H Kawasaki's were in there as well. Jago Kietz, though, the home favourite, wasn't so lucky. He went down at turn 1 and had a monumental task on his hands to come through the field. It was close up front, though, for the first few laps. Ben Watson and Thomas Olsen going bar to bar as they went in pursuit of Jacoby. These three fighting for 4th, 5th and 6th place. Sterry was having a fantastic ride just ahead of them, but Jago Kietz was a man on a mission. Passing riders at will, Verlanderen fell and would eventually rejoin the race in 11th place. But Jago Kietz was stalking his prey, passing riders 1, 2, 3 at a time. And eventually, he was alongside Maxime Renault, and the pass on the Frenchman got him into 6th before lap 5. He then went after his teammate. Ben Watson then could only sit and wait as the 193 went sailing by. Thomas Olsen was looking good until this happened. He crashed in the qualifying race in a similar fashion. He would not finish race 1. Kevin Verlanderen was back on the charge. He found his way past Henry Jacoby to eventually come home 7th for HRC. Jago Kietz went around the outside of Sterry, who made a mistake. That was for 3rd. And then he latched onto the rear wheel of Tom Vial to move into 2nd with 5 laps to go. From there was no catching Jorge Prado. He just had to go into cruise mode on his Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. Adam Sterry eventually found his way past the Red Bull KTM of Vial as well, as he worked his way to a terrific 3rd place. Jago Kietz would be hoping for a better start in race 2. Jorge Prado, though, danced his way around the tough sands for win number 23. Another quick reaction from Jorge Prado, and guess what? It was foxhole shot number 19 in the books for 2019. On board here with the GoPro with Jago Kietz in around 10th, 12th place as he came through the first turn, one-handed as he pulled roll-offs immediately. The 2 KTMs were up front. Verlanderen was in 3rd as Jago Kietz once again went to town on his rivals, past both Kawasaki's here of Sterry and Jacoby. And then he looked up and saw Thomas Olsen in his tracks. He breezed past the Dane, went after his teammate. Ben Watson was having a great ride despite severe blisters on his hands, having not ridden the last few weeks. It didn't stop him from charging his way up the inside of Verlanderen as he tried to escape the clutches of his teammate, who was closing in fast and dancing his way around the outside of the number 10, Verlanderen. The battle continued furiously and frantic as the circuit got rougher. A mistake from Watson allowed Kietz through. And then Watson all of a sudden was under attack from Verlanderen. The South African tried to move around the outside, and it eventually paid off as Watson followed his teammate through on the inside. And Verlanderen almost went by the Belgian as well. But Kietz stuck to the task. Meanwhile, in 2nd place, Tom Vial was having another fantastic ride, but wasn't long before Kietz had broken free from his rivals and moved past the Frenchman. Next to line up, the number 28 was the number 10. Verlanderen made this move to move into 3rd. Watson wasn't far behind, and it wasn't long before the 919 also followed through. The heat, the circuit conditions starting to take their toll. Jacoby fell. His teammate ran into him. Sterry would eventually bounce back for 6th. Jacobi would eventually come home in 12th place. But with just 3 laps to go, Jago Kiet's race was over. He would not stand on the podium in front of his home fans this weekend. Final lap though, after doing everything right, Jorge Prado fell. Fortunately for him, he had a 30-second lead at that point, and he went on to take race win number 24 and his 13th Grand Prix victory of the season, 12 in a row now for the number 61. Villana on the podium second, Watson on the podium for the first time this year. But Prado now has 124 points over Thomas Olsen. Liao back up to third. Kietz loses third and drops to fourth. But Ben Watson enjoyed his moment on the podium, so too did Villandren. And what about Jorge Prado? Well, he's moving closer. With just 4 rounds to go, the title is within his grasp once more.
The recovering is going really good. We will restart on the bike next week. So just counting down the days right now. It's been a hell of a journey this 2019 season. We're already back in training, full gas, let's say, you know, not on the bike, but like off the bike. I can basically do everything right now. We haven't decided which GP will come back to racing yet. The main target this year is to finish off strong in the Motocross of Nations.
I grew up in the motocross environment, and then at one point I started mechanicking for a friend a bit. At one point I ended up in KTM as a technical liaison to the US team, working up the ranks in KTM. And at one point, Pete just asked me why you don't become team manager.
My father rides on motocross, and of course it's my reason. I started on the small bike at 5 or 6 years. When I signed with Red Bull last year, for me it's a big opportunity and a big surprise also. Every weekend is very good with the team. And
Tom popped up my eye a bit with his style. I really liked his style from the start. In the end of the day, we actually made, let's say, casting. We got some people here, we had them on different tracks, and then we decided afterwards, and we all choose Tom Vial.
Tom Vial is a very talented kid and he has a lot of potential. He's a very curious kid, you know, also with the age, he's only 18 years, so he's very excited, and he asked many times for my advice when we were training, like what should I do here, should I go outside, inside, jump this, jump that. So we spoke about the tracks very often, so it's a shame I'm not there every weekend to, you know, not only race but also support the rest of the team.
my favorite track normally it's Hardpack. But I live now in Belgium, and I ride a lot of the sand or the winter and for the training. It's very fun for me to try the sand.
Our targets have been, like I say, first in the beginning get him top 10 and then get him towards top 5. But he proved us wrong. He's a surprise to everybody, and he's doing really well and way better than we all expected.
The race one in Loket, it's strange for me. As the beginning was very good. Calvin, it's very close to me. 5 minutes to the end, I crashed with Calvin. For me, it's not really my fault, but sometimes it's not easy, but it's a race. This week, Monday and Tuesday was not so bad, my neck, and I ride Wednesday on the sand, and it's very good.
Jeffrey is a tough case. The winter preparation looked really good. He looked really strong until he hit the wall. For him, it's mentally tough to be from such a good season last year to such a down season this year.
I think every great racer had his ups and downs. If you look even to Antonio Caroli, he's out this year. He was out with his knee. He was out in 2015. From the last 10, 15 years, he's the man, you know. So he had those parts. Every time I step on the bike, I know it's possible. Definitely had a few too many, and luckily everything has been recovered well. But it's never fun to get injured.
Taking pole position in Saturday's qualifying race, number 99 Max Anstey was looking for a great start. Instead it was Geiser who got to the front early as Anstey crashed out hard. He got hit by other riders as Koldenhoff took his second foxhole shot of the season. On board with the GoPro here of Gauthier Paulin, he was in around 6th position but lost positions early on in the opening lap. Meanwhile, Anstey picked himself up but would not rejoin the race. He was a doubt for race 2 as well. Before the end of the lap, Tim Geiser went down the inside of Romain Febvre to take over the lead, but it was short-lived. Glenn Koldenhoff was there in 3rd on his standing construct KTM, keeping these two honest. Tonus was right there as well, but Romain Febvre was the lead Yamaha rider, and soon he was up front and the leader of the race by lap 2. Jeremy Seewer found his way past Arno Tonus on the Monster Energy Wilbo Yamaha as he moved briefly into 4th place. Then Paul Jonas found his way past Arno Tonus, and so too did Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who made a move on Gauthier Paulin. Paulin was struggling with the tough conditions in race 1. He would eventually come home in 9th place. Arminas Jasikonis got in on the act as well on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna with that move on the Frenchman. Tonus, though, got second wind in the latter stage of the race, and him and Paul Jonas went bar to bar under the watchful eye of Van Hoorbeek, just behind them in 6th place. Tonus eventually won the little battle, though, between these two. Nice move around the outside, caught the Latvian off guard. And then Van Hoorbeek also found a way through. And that was the move that put the Honda SR Motor Blues rider into 6th and Jonas down to 7th. Romain Febvre had it all under control, but with a couple of laps to go, he started making mistakes. And the Honda of Tim Geiser was starting to close in. Koldenhoff was solid on the 259 standing construct KTM, but couldn't do anything about Geiser or Febvre. Jeremy Seewer had to be content with 4th. Arno Tonus came home in 5th. But it was Romain Febvre who somehow managed to guide his Yamaha to his 3rd race win of the season. But at what cost? His physical exertions in race 1, Romain Febvre was looking for a good start, but it wasn't to be. But back in the hunt was the number 99 of Max Anstey. He tiptoed around the inside and came out in around about 4th place as Tim Geiser took his 7th foxhole shot of the season and led the opening 3 laps of the race. Van Hoorbeek had the crowd on their toes as he was in 2nd on the opening lap, but was quickly passed by Anstey. Geiser tried to make a break for it, but the standing construct KTM of Anstey had other ideas, as Jonas stalled whilst in 7th position. He rejoined the race in 19th. Geiser then came quickly under attack from the 99 of Anstey. 1 or 2 little mistakes there from the Honda rider allowed Anstey to close in, and by lap 4 we had a new leader as Anstey blitzed around the outside of the Slovenian and into the lead. The Brit was counting the cost of his crash in race 1. Koldenhoff, Van Hoorbeek went bar to bar as they challenged each other for 3rd place. The Belgian won the battle there briefly, but Koldenhoff eventually did go through. Febvre also followed the Dutchman through. Jasikonis, having a better start, was sitting there in around 6th place, but as Febvre went through, then Anstey threw away the lead in spectacular fashion with 6 laps remaining. He was 13 seconds clear at this point. Geiser sailed by into the lead. Meanwhile, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek's race started to fall apart. He hit the wall, Koldenhoff and Febvre both went by, then the Jerry man crashed out. He eventually came home in 7th place. The circuit was really starting to take its toll. Seewer also found his way past the Honda rider of Van Hoorbeek as he eventually came home in 5th place. But Anstey dug in deep, and with 3 laps to go, went around the outside of Geiser to take over the lead once more. The question was, could he keep it on two wheels to take his first ever MXGP race win? Jasikonis, just like his teammate, suffered some gremlins on his Husqvarna. Eventually came home in 6th. Max Anstey won the race. Tim Geiser won the GP. Koldenhoff came 3rd in the race and was back on the podium the first time this season. Geiser now leads Jeremy Seewer by 187 points as we head to round 15 in Italy. But the podium this weekend, Glenn Koldenhoff 3rd overall with 2 third-place finishes. Roman Febvre 2nd overall with a 1st and a 4th. Tim Geiser, though, 2 second places was enough for him to take his 9th Grand Prix win of the season. All he needs now to win the championship in Imola is an 8th place in race 1 if Seewer goes and wins it. Fantastic action here from Lommel. A tough day for everybody. There were some tired and weary faces up there, but they have 2 weeks to recover before round 15. Well, that's it from Lommel. We'll see you next time, round 15, the MXGP of Italy at Imola.